You need to promise that you will never preach the gospel to my son. Well, I was 14 years old, about to turn 15, when my uncle invited me to spend a season at his home in Houston, Texas. My uncle was a member of the church for many, many years. Now, without me knowing, my mother set a condition very strong to my uncle. Say, well, you know, Ruben can go and stay with you, but you need to promise that you will never preach the gospel to my son. Because, you know, we are Catholics, we've been Catholics since generations. If you commit yourself not to say anything about your church, I will allow my son to spend a season with you, which he will love. When I just arrived to his home and I saw them praying and other things, the style of life really caught my attention. So I began to ask questions about the church and about the gospel. To my surprise, he was not so willing to speak about the church or even the gospel. I was staying in a room with a huge library of books with about 200 copies of the Book of Mormon. So I took one of those Book of Mormon, and when I began to read it, I couldn't stop reading. When I read that promise from Moroni 10, something happened in my heart. I said, what is this? Of course, I received a testimony that was the truth, and I needed to be baptized. Now, my uncle, not being able to preach the gospel without saying a word, he was preaching the gospel all the time because of the way he was living the gospel. That was undeniable. I told him about being baptized, and I showed him I was living in the Book of Mormon. He, without saying anything, went to the airport and bought a plane ticket back to Buenos Aires for the next day. And he put a little note in my bag to my mother. I didn't have anything to do with it.